1987 Declasse Rancher XL. We've already covered its little brother. Now it's time to tackle the big chunk. So I was going to make some kind of parody. Well, actually, I hadn't planned on making a parody for this video because I was going to probably make a parody commercial, but I couldn't find a good. There isn't a lot of good commercials online of the older Suburban, funnily enough, actually. So here's just me talking, explaining why I couldn't make a song. On to the video. Now, this second review also comes as a partial request from Tarner8, and you probably already saw his comment in the previous video, so I'm not going to put it up again, where he had also mentioned a review about the NYSP Police Rancher. Now, rather than doing a separate video on the Police Rancher, I thought it would be easier to just do the OG Rancher, the Snowy Rancher, and the Police Rancher all in one video. Also, since the next video will mark my 100th video of RCR SA, well, technically, according to the playlist, I know I'm counting the tier list video as well, whatever. So, look out for some hints for the next coveted 100th video, or 100th review, I guess. It's technically 99th, but, whatever, who cares, right? 1987, the Declasse Rancher XL. You want an SUV? I'll give you an SUV. Step aside, Serrano. Move over, Habanero. It's the American's turn now. A pioneer of the mid-size SUV market during the 1980s and the early 1990s, the Rancher harks back to a simpler time when you could still stick a box on wheels and still call it a car. If you're the kind of person who wants a fun off-road vehicle for less than $10K and doesn't pay too much attention to crash data, this car is for you. And the thing about crash data is actually kind of true, because the deformation statistics for this vehicle in game, it's not great. It's not good. Now, I kind of already talked a bit about the Rancher in my GTA 4 Rancher review, which you can watch by clicking the box on the top right. The Rancher XL can trace its roots, funnily enough, to the FIB Rancher from Vice City, which was the first instance of the four-door model. However, the model in that game in particular was kind of weird, like some kind of, it looked like they just kind of merged two vehicles together, like a truck with a bed cap almost. It also existed in San Andreas as well, and the design is very similar to the classic Rancher and the XL model from GTA 5, which was based on the C/K series derived 7th generation truck. The only car that looks sort of similar to the Rancher we have here is one from the console exclusive, which was Legendary Stories. Now, they also did have an FIB Rancher in that game as well, but this one is known as the Gang Rancher, which is a slightly modified version of the Rancher, of the FIB Rancher, I guess you can call it, which is still mostly based on a previously mentioned C/K Chevy platform, or GM platform. The Rancher XL we see here today, of course, is mostly derived from a 1973 to 91 Chevy Suburban. Now, I kind of find this part odd. Despite the fact that the Rancher XL, and I guess you could say the Suburban in the same way, are, I guess, classed, or people think of as SUVs, they are both not in fact an SUV. Are you confused? Well, I'll let Mr. Regular, from his review of the 1990 Chevy Suburban, explain.
You're not looking at an SUV here. In the late 1980s and early 90s, the Chevrolet Suburban was a truck. What this really is a Silverado long bed that just happens to be enclosed. Look at the back. You see a third brake light? The high-centered third brake light was mandated for cars in 1987.
But trucks didn't have to have them until 1994.
That was a law in the United States anyway. I don't know what it was in Europe.
Speaking of which, I made my own version of this video in GTA 5 years ago. It was kind of what inspired me to make this series, actually. I'll play a brief clip. If you're truly interested in seeing this quote-unquote gem of a video, I'll provide a link in the description.
1990 Chevrolet Suburban. A machine made for blasting radar love between toll booths on the Northeast Extension.
Sex on wheels, sex on wheels. I drink Monster Energy with all my meals.
Okay, on to the specs of the Suburban. I might repeat stuff from my other Rancher review, so you have been warned. The Chevy Suburban features a total of 8 engine options. I'm not too surprised about this by now, as it has become basically a meme on this series, and with GM offering multiple engines on their cars and trucks. Diesel options ranged from a 5.7 liter LF9 V8 from 1978 to 87, and a 6.2 liter Detroit diesel from 82 all the way till the end of the 7th generation. For gassers, you could have got a 4.1 liter inline 6, which by the way isn't a bad motor as from what I've heard, which was the only 6-cylinder option. And you could get a 5.0 liter all the way up to the coveted 454 or 7.4 liter V8. The Suburban could be offered with a 3 or 4-speed manual and a 3 or 4-speed automatic. None of them which were the 4L60E, which frankly I am appalled. How dare you, GM? Well, they did give him a 4L80E, which is significantly better than the 4L60, and they gave him the old battle axe known as the Turbo Hydromatic 3-speed, which is the 300 and 400 series, I think. Yeah. Moving onward to the XL, under the hood is a double overhead cam inline 4. Funnily enough, the engine sounds like a rotary. That's what the wiki says, like, for real. Took me a while to realize, because when I think of rotary, I think of this. By the way, that clip I found was in a Telegram group with me and my friends. That's my one of my friends' old RX-7 FC Vert, which I wish he hadn't sold, but now he has an RX-8 now, which I guess is better. So yeah. And if you're wondering, that was the car in the video I made where I was playing the Eurobeat, and it's like the YouTube short video. That was me and his RX-7. So yeah, what I'm trying to say was, I'm so used to hearing a rotary engine with some kind of loud exhaust. It feels weird to hear a rotary. It feels weird to hear the sound of the Rancher and apparently, according to the wiki, it sounds like a rotary engine. Or in the case of that clip there, an exhaust leak. As you might expect for a vehicle like the Rancher, the 0 to 60 is an eternal 11.85 seconds. And yes, decimals count. You like the reference there to RCR? It's laugh! Anyway. Even with upgrade, it still feels really sluggish. But let me tell you, it's still not as slow as the Regina. Now, of course, I like to take a moment to compare some of my previously reviewed SUVs to this beast of a truck. And yes, I'm calling it a truck. Hell, look at it compared to this, this Fudo GTX. Definitely not a hint, guys. It's practically massive, as you expect for a behemoth that is the Rancher XL. It outclasses most modern SUVs in size, but not in performance. Handling, though, is not that bad, actually. And I'd say it's about on par with the counterparts as well, thanks in part to the all-wheel drive configuration of the vehicle. It gets a 30-70 split to the front and rear wheels, giving it decent traction on the tarmac. It even fared quite well on some dirt roads and off-road sections I traveled it through. Unfortunately, due to the heavy weight of the vehicle, even with all-wheel drive, hill climbing off-road can be a struggle for this mighty beast. Now, of course, I can't cap off this review without discussing the Snowy and Police Rancher. Well, the Snowy Rancher is basically just a normal Rancher XL with some snow on it. It was literally the first vehicle we all ended up driving in GTA 5 when your getaway driver, well, Well, anyway, once you get control of the vehicle, you drive it around and stuff, and you know, whatever. And everything's going to plan, it seems, until, well...
You guys alright? I've been in witness protection. I still am.
Witness protection for what? No one was convicted of anything.
The second variant is the North Yankton State Patrol Rancher, visually similar to the Snowy Rancher, with an added light bar and police decals and all that good stuff. Unlike its Esperanto counterpart, on the next-gen copies of the game, the police decals are not mirrored on the passenger side door. And interestingly enough, both the Snowy and Police Rancher have a latch on the rear hatch. While this is purely aesthetic, I found it was odd it was not featured on the normal Rancher. While I didn't do any testing of the Police Rancher, according to the wiki, the performance is actually different. The Police Rancher's performance is sort of a hybrid between the normal Rancher XL and the game's numerous police vehicles. Despite being an off-road vehicle, the Police Rancher is surprisingly nimble. I also noticed that the Police Rancher has a much different engine sound to the Rancher XL. This could possibly mean the police model was equipped with a more powerful engine. I'm not really sure, and that's basically all there is to say about the Police Rancher and, well, the Rancher XL in general. Overall, it is a very decently equipped SUV, decently equipped truck. I mean, for the price you pay for it and what you get, it's not too bad. I would have wished they had more modification options for the car in the game, but other than that, it's not a bad truck. So yeah, there you go, Tarner. I reviewed the Police Rancher, as well as checked off the Rancher XL off my list. Now, which one do I like more, the classic Rancher or the XL model? I'm gonna have to say, well, I kind of like both. I do like the XL model a lot more because it is bigger, but I do like the shorter wheelbase of the regular Rancher. So that's just my take on it. So I think that's basically it for this video, guys. I've ran out of script to read, so until next time, everybody, I will see y'all in the next one. Have a great weekend and stay safe out. Bye bye.